Under what conditions will you call for Bersih 5?
Well, at the Bersih 4 rally, I did say that, if we get through the institutional reform, Bersih 5 will be a celebration of people's power. The condition, I think, will really depend on how we are going to pan out the next 2 to 3 years. But for Najib, that's how I see him. Now, in order to consolidate his power, he has done a few things. One is that his cabinet now is very well established, bought over, right down to the heads of the branches. These are important key people to actually buy over, because they will be the ones who will be determining who is going to be leading UMNO and so forth. Yeah. Secondly, is that the race card will continue. I don't think that he's going to let it go. He will continue using it, although at the UN in New York, he and Zahid Hamidi is saying that, we have to be very careful about racism and stuff like that. But that is the Jekyll and Hyde of Najib, yeah, where he will go out of the country and produce and give the impression that Malaysia is still moderate, tolerant, and accepting transformation. But internally in the country, we are still very much suppressed. So the race card will definitely be used, and together with the race card, he is actually, like what Farida is saying, rent a thug. It's going rent a mob. He's going to use more gangsters to actually try to threaten people. One of the Bersih 4, post-Bersih 4 meeting that we had, 30 or 40 of them just barged in. And it was meant to just bully us. The whole meeting actually stopped. But we and we gave them the platform to speak. We actually took photos with them to actually tell them that we are not fearful of them. Although, in our hearts, probably they say we were telling ourselves they will probably be bashed up already, because the people who bashed in are not your ordinary Malaysians, because I think Malaysians are still peace-loving. These are actually thugs who actually come in with the intention to actually create problem. And you will see him using more and more of these people, because these same people who barged into our meeting in Penang were the same people who actually barged into the State Assembly meeting. The same people who actually broke up a State Assembly meeting. The people who actually were at Sogo in KL were also the same people who did the butt dance in front of Ambiga's house. So, they are all one the same.
Those were the army veterans.
Yes, the former army veterans, and then of course they found this Jamal Yunus, who is a bankrupt, and he has nothing better to do, right? So the other thing is that the religion card will also be used, particularly Hudud, because who is going to align with UMNO? Because MCA, MIC are at the weakest at the present moment. It will be PAS. And the horse trading will be to give PAS more seats in relation to, to actually have UMNO back in power, and PAS will have its Hudud. So the rumor now is that the coming parliament session, Hudud, that private members bill, will actually be brought forward, and it will be discussed. So that is something that we will see happening. For Najib, I think that failing which all this doesn't work, he is actually suppressing the right to dissent. Particularly if you see the trend in which the laws have been used. First, they use it. They actually use the Sedition Act The Sedition Act was a promise from Najib himself to say that he will do away with it and bring in a national unity,
harmony laws.
National harmony laws, which he didn't do. So he used the Sedition Act to the fullest, where up to now we have over 100 people charged under sedition, and still there are some people still having new cases. The other thing that since Sedition Act, because there were so many protests, he used the penal code, where he managed to find a section in the penal code where it states that you can be accused or attempt to actually destroy parliamentary democracy without actually even defining what you mean by parliamentary democracy. Raising questions about corruption is now considered anti-parliamentary democracy, and how ridiculous it is,
Let's see what the courts will say.
But you see, other than some of us have been actually charged under that. The other one that they are using is actually under Khairuddin, where SOSMA has been used, the Security Offences Act. This one is actually a replacement of the Internal Security Act, where there is detention without trial, indefinite detention, and it can actually be a life sentence. It can go on forever. And they are using SOSMA, which is a bit scary, because anyone who is found to be violent or show violence or attempt to even show violence, you can be charged under SOSMA. And it means that it will keep most of the social activists in jail. So
Did
these
Khairuddin show violence?
That has to be proved in court. He showed violence by making all these police reports all over the country, all over the other countries.
World,
but I think that we are seeing a desperate government, particularly Najib himself, who is desperate enough to use any means to stay in power at all cost. It doesn't matter. So he used the laws, he used gangsters, he used money politics to actually, in order that he himself is secured enough, because he doesn't want to go to jail, that's for sure. He actually doesn't want to be accountable for the money that has been squandered or not squandered. And we have a cabinet and some of the former ministers and all that standing up for him just because they are beholden to him and they do not want to fall. And that is the kind of governance that we have today in Malaysia. And we have to actually say very loudly that we cannot have this to continue. First of all, he has to go, definitely. I am for him to actually be removed, although some people say, never mind, keep him until next election and kick him out. But I think that for the welfare of the country, he has to go. So that we can actually get people to reorganize the country and we go on the right path. And the other thing is that more and more people have to speak up. We have a lot of silent majority, but I think at this present moment, we should surpass that silent majority and to actually speak out, because if we don't, the next generation will actually suffer. So these are the things that we actually need to really think about. And international pressure, although it's not well covered in the local newspaper, but it hurts. And that is one of the weak point that Najib feels, because he still thinks that he wants to be considered as a moderate leader among the international community. And whether he's in a state of denial or not, but I think that he feels very strongly about international opinion, and Malaysians overseas should actually start lobbying to actually expose, name and shame because how can you actually have somebody who steals our money and still remain in power?
Yeah.
How strong is your message in the rural areas? How strong is the Bersih message in the rural areas?
We are actually working on it. We are very confident that the west coast of Semenanjung definitely understand it. It's a matter of accessibility to information. And I think that not all the rural Malays are that ignorant. It's a matter of whether they have the information or not. There is now a lot of misinformation and no information.
And manipulation.
And manipulation of the information. So we are actually thinking of other creative ways to communicate with the general public through handphones, through tapes and all that, to actually get our message through. We are working with definitely all the NGOs. But you see, I think that the positive side is that because Bersih 4 happened, there are a lot of people who have actually come forward to volunteer from all parts of Malaysia to volunteer to help Bersih to get the message across. So we are actually tapping on that. And particularly, I am very, very encouraged are the young Malays. The young Malays have actually formed themselves into groups, and it's not just KL, but in Johor, we have groups in Pahang, Penang, Kedah, who have actually organized themselves into a very effective group, to reach out to the various students and all that.